puberty blockers are reversible. How does that work? How are they reversible?
It's a pause. Because what a puberty blocker does is it pauses the puberty process. These puberty blockers allow these children to not have that body, because that body for them is death. Is in the medical community's decision. It's not yours.
Oh, I see.
It's our children's decision to work with their medical providers, not yours.
Okay, guys, we have another MAGA street interview to hop into, this time on gender affirming care, the LGBTQ community, trans kids, you know, their obsession. So if you can, take a moment, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a bunch, gives us a boost in the algorithm, and let's get right to the debunking with our fact checks ready.
My extended family is on puberty blockers.
How old are they, if you don't mind me asking?
They started puberty at 11, and they didn't want to have breasts. They didn't want to have... And it's a pause. It's reversible. Puberty blockers are reversible. It's a pause, but our family member has been trans since 4. Say coincidentally you felt like you were a girl, but you were in a man's body. To force you to get puberty, hair, underarm hair, Adam's apple, when that's not you, and you grow in that body, these puberty blockers allow these children to not have that body, because that body for them is death.
So the first claim, puberty blockers are reversible. How does that work? How are they reversible?
It's a pause, because what a puberty blocker does is it pauses the puberty process. There's 5 stages of puberty, and so basically it pauses it. So the minute they get off of the puberty blockers, their body continues in their biological puberty.
I mean, she's cooking here, right? You would expect someone with a trans family member to know their stuff. They probably walked up to the wrong person. We know this is reversible because we have long-term, like 10+ year studies of kids, like 6 and under, using GnRHA, which is puberty blockers, on children for other treatments, right? Which show the effects subside after the treatment is stopped, even after long-term use. She also makes the correct point in asking him this, as we already have cis people who do gender-affirming care because they might suffer from some level of gender dysphoria. Why do we allow males to go to the gym, right? Why should male children go to the gym? They want to be stronger because we associate muscles and being strong with being a man. So why don't we just tell the scrawny males to be comfortable in their own body, right? Why do we let males with long hair get their hair cut? Like it boils down like we all have this image of ourselves psychologically. Essentially, it's a schema, right? It's a set of things we associate with ourselves based on how we identify. And our reality not lining up with that can be very distressful for many, both cis and trans individuals.
So out of 100 kids, how many of these kids do you think come off puberty blockers, and when do they come off of them, do you think?
The only kids that are really that are trans and not, experimenting or anything, they go through with it.
Yeah, they stay on them.
They stay on them until they get onto cross hormones, which are not reversible.
So therefore, it's not a pause. It's just stopping puberty.
No, it's a pause because they can get off of them and continue in the regular biological puberty. So it is a pause.
So the truth is that...
But it's their decision.
Okay, so...
Right?
May I just make my counterpoint?
Let me finish for a second.
All right.
If our children want to grow breasts and hips if they're a trans boy, they have that option. They can always get off the blockers, and they don't want to because they're in the wrong body.
Okay.
And so, go ahead to ask me your question.
Okay, so sure, if a child went on puberty blockers for 3 months or so, came off, not too much harm done, right? Puberty would resume.
It would even presume if they went on for 2 years, it would still resume. Their breasts would start to grow.
They would have lost out on 2 years of development.
Okay, let's evade the fact that it is super weird, super creepy that he's putting more worry in the genital size of children than they would be. That's weird. It's also untrue the extent to which he's trying to say this here. Development would absolutely continue. It does vary. Like there are people who maybe they have like smaller hypothetically than they would. To me, it's weird even saying these things, but like it's not ceased. The capacity for development remains. It's just that puberty is shifted to a later period. What puberty blockers do is there's 2 hormones in which activate gonadal development, right? I don't remember the names, but it's LH and FSH, right? And And the puberty blockers just block those from being released into your system. Again, 10 plus year studies on this stuff. It's been used to treat a range of things like precocious puberty. We literally know the pituitary gland will resume producing these hormones if the treatments are ceased, which is what causes the growth. I do love how these clowns don't realize though, like that saying the kids remain in the treatments to go on to hormone therapy, which then also has but below 1% desist rate or detransition rate. Continuing into hormones to them is proof of like indoctrination, but it's proof of the efficacy of these treatments being valid, of kids understanding and being right. But like, again, we know we can't trans kids because we can't force them to be straight either. Conversion therapy, these clowns' favorite thing, wholly disprove their own arguments.
These boys, when they grow up and they have this 12-year-old's penis as a 17 or 18-year-old and they want to get the vaginoplasty done, because it won't grow anymore, they end up cutting out a piece of their colon or a piece of their stomach to form the lining of the neovagina.
Doesn't matter.
This is
It doesn't matter.
That
they
doesn't
want
matter?
a vagina. No, it doesn't matter.
You think
Whatever
that's fine?
surgical, yeah, of course. Whatever surgical procedure they need to have a vagina to make them happy is in the medical community's decision. It's not yours.
Oh, I see.
It's our children's decision to
Right.
work with their medical providers, not yours.
Do you mind if I ask you how young you believe that children should be able to surgically transition their gender or start the process? How young, in your opinion? Is
How
that okay?
young? So we have a 13-year-old trans friend, biologically a female who's transitioned to a male. He wasn't aware of his identity, so he started to develop breasts just before he had the puberty blockers. So now he doesn't want those breasts. So he's 14.
And he's 14 right now, and he
He's
doesn't
14 and he wants the breast tissue removed from his top.
want. And you'd be okay with that?
I would. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, to be clear, top surgeries on children are already a norm. So you're either universally against this, which is at least consistent, or you're just using this to give credence to your argument. I mean, kids can go get plastic surgery right now if mom and dad consent. You can get a nose job, you can get a boob job, you can get whatever. We see this all in the the beauty pageant world. Ask Trump, he probably knows a lot about it, which is done for no health reasons, mind you, right? It's literally done for what I would consider sick reasons. So people can like watch children look beautified or whatever. And I mean, it's obviously done for reasons outside of the beauty pageant world as well. But conservatives never seem to rally about this. I've never seen one conservative protest, one street interviewer asking people about that, one MAGA bring this up. Nothing. Obviously, when you ask them, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm against this. Well, then why don't you have the same vitriol for it, right? And I also love that this lady's sticking to her guns, because this is the part I feel like for those who are less informed can be hard. It can feel like you're getting grilled, but like it's just actually really simple. Like those making the decisions are informed, right? They're given a risk-benefit analysis and they decide the risk is worth the benefit. You can do what they're doing with this with anything. Oh, you think kids should get chemotherapy to treat cancer? You do know that kids who get chemotherapy end up infertile, right? Like, what if that poor little 12-year-old that you forced your worldview on, that chemotherapy is the right way to treat cancer, what if at 21 they decide that they would rather have taken that risk and brought a kid into this world? You'd think that they were old enough to make that decision? You're sick. Kids can't consent. It's all bad faith for the sake of being bad faith, because these clowns don't want to have the real conversation because science doesn't actually agree with them. So they have to pretend that they're like the science defenders by just misrepresenting science. It's common in the right. You see this with climate change. You see this with all kinds of things. You see this in religious circles with evolution, but this is probably why they're trying to meet strangers on the street in hopes that they won't know what they're talking about. One last time quickly for everyone. Kids assent to medical procedures. Their parents then consent for them. With gender-affirming care, this is all after weeks of therapy, multiple meetings with a doctor, and a formal diagnosis of gender dysphoria, where after all these things, the data clearly supports this being beneficial, with no data supporting it being harmful.